Greetings, Swangolians, and welcome back to Swango. This is the OG Bird, and today we are going to be talking about Armored Kill. Dun, dun, dun. The add-on has finally come out. It's awesome. You guys are going to love it. Now, the first thing you need to know is the download time. It took about 45 minutes, and of course that's going to depend on your internet connection, but it's going to take about 45 minutes to download the new Armored Kill add-on. There are 4 new maps. There's Bandahar Desert, which is the largest map in Battlefield history. There's Death Valley, which is a night map. There is Armored Shield, which I'm about to show you here, which is the farmland. And then there's Albarez Mountains, which is the snow level. Now, there's also a new game mode that's been added with the Armored Kill add-on, and it's called TS, which stands for Tank Superiority. And this is basically an Armored King of the Hill. You have one objective, 2 teams fighting over one objective the entire match. That's basically it. It's a mess, but it can be a little bit of fun. Now, another thing that you need to know is that the burn boundaries are fairly small. These are really large maps, and you're going to anticipate that you're going to be capturing these objectives in a vehicle, yet the capture points, the burn points, are very small. So keep that in mind. They're not big. They didn't grow with the size of the map. The burn boundaries are still relatively small. There are hot spots, spots where there's, constant activity going on, and those are places that you need to know. Now, each map has a hot spot, and primarily right now, it's the one objective that controls the gunship. Each map has an objective. Currently on this map is Bravo, that if your team controls Bravo, you also control a gunship. A gunship will spawn in the air, which has 2 seats, and you can rain down hell from above with the gunship. Now, the gunship is on each of the new maps. Your team must capture the gunship objective for it to spawn. The gunship has 2 seats, the main cannon and the gunner seat. Each seat has a primary weapon. The main seat is an armor-piercing shell, and the gunner seat is a 25mm cannon similar to the gunner's attack cannon in the attack chopper. And each of them have a secondary, which is an anti-aircraft turret. You can eventually unlock air-to-air missiles, but currently right now all I've got is the gun. Now, it also, you need to know that the gunship respawns every 60 to 90 seconds because it can get shot down, and it gets shot down fairly easily by the enemy jets. Now, the gunship objective can be, let me spawn into the level here. The gunship objective, if we look at Bravo, has got this little cross next to it. That is the gunship icon. That's actually an icon of the gunship itself, the airplane. I can get a better contrast here. There you go. Now you can see the white cross next to Bravo, which is the plane icon. You can see it there. Now, when we capture this, the gunship is going to spawn. Let's see if I can land this here. Whoop, 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 whoop. There we go. Now, there is our gunship with our 2 seats on it, and what it does is it patrols the perimeter of the map on a rail, so you don't really get to fly it or control it, but you do get countermeasures. So as both seats have countermeasure flares to keep from getting shot down, so remember that you have those and to use them when you start to get locked onto. And it's quite a sight when the gunship deploys its flares. It's quite pretty because it deploys a lot of flares. Now, one thing you need to know about when the game first starts in conquest mode is that, let me get out of here just for the noise. When the game first starts, the air vehicles are going to take a few seconds before they appear in the deployment menu. So if you're looking for a jet or a chopper, you're going to want to wait to spawn. If you're looking for armor, just spawn right away into the map, and it will spawn you in your deployment next to all your vehicles. Now I'm going to go over the vehicles that you get. Each side gets the same vehicles for the most part, either their US or Russian equivalents. And there is a couple of vehicles that will spawn into the level once you capture an objective. Now, let me get back into this chopper so that we can take a look around this beautiful map. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to suicide. I'm going to spawn into the gunship while I tell you about the different vehicles that are available to you right when you spawn on your deployment. Now, if you notice here, I can spawn on the gunship, and when this is available, I can spawn into one of the two available seats. If the seats are full, I can still spawn on the gunship by using the gunship paradrop, and what that will do is spawn me just beneath the plane, and I'll skydive and pull my chute and deploy paratroop into the battlefield, which is a really awesome option. But right now we're just going to spawn into the gunship, circle around, and so you guys can get a view of the level from above. I am currently in the... There we go. This is the gunner's seat with the 25mm cannon, and then we have the main seat with the armor-piercing shell, and each one of these has an AA gun, which is mounted to the top of the plane. So you can't really shoot at stuff beneath you with this weapon, only above you and straight out. So know that when you're going to be attacking. Now there's the flares. Oh, it's quite a sight. I'm going to go back into this gunner seat so that we can see the level as we spawn around. Now each side gets 2 jets, 1 attack chopper, 1 mobile AA, 2 tank destroyers, and 2 quads. That's what you get right off your spawn. Now in the level, if you capture Alpha, the objective A, it's going to spawn 1 quad. If you capture objective Bravo, it's going to give you a mobile artillery and 1 quad. Quads are really fast, by the way. They don't have any type of weapons or any type of lock-on indicators or anything like that, but they're really fast and they're a lot of fun, and they go over a lot of different terrains. Now also in this level, if you capture Delta or Echo, it'll also give you a quad on that location. I'm going to go ahead and tell you about the other levels. We'll start with Bandahar. Now Bandahar, the gunship objective is Echo, that's E. And each team starts with 2 tank destroyers, 1 mobile artillery, 2 jets, 1 attack chopper, and a couple of quads. Now B, the objective B, spawns a tank destroyer. That is the only other objective in the map that spawns a vehicle. Quads can be found at team deployment. One can be accessed from across the street from Bravo. There's one on Delta, and there's also one on Echo. And it's important to know where these are because the maps are so big and you do not want to traverse this terrain on foot. As you can see, there's our deployment way over there. The next objective is A, and then it's going to take you about 300 meters to your next objective. So you really don't want to be traversing these levels on foot. Now next I want to talk about Death Valley. Death Valley is a dark level, and you might want to think about using a weapon with infrared vision on it. And I'm actually talking about your assault rifle or your PDW or what have you, your small arms fire weapon. You might want to consider using infrared. It might actually help because it is kind of difficult to see enemies that aren't spotted from time to time. Now the gunship objective in Death Valley is Charlie. That's the one that you want to get so that your team owns the gunship. Now each side gets 2 jets, 1 scout chopper, and 2 tank destroyers. However, on Death Valley level, you also get quite a few vehicle spawns in the game once you capture the objective. So when you capture Bravo, you get a tank destroyer. When you capture Alpha, you get a quad and a mobile artillery. If you capture Delta, you get a tank destroyer. If you capture Echo, you get 1 quad and 1 mobile artillery. And if you capture Charlie, you get a quad. Now, our 4th and final level is the Alvarez Mountains, which is it's a very nice map to play. And all these maps, primarily before playing them, I would have said that you're going to want to run NG and support class primarily. But after playing the level, there is room to play any of the classes that you'd like. Since there's so many people playing engineer and support classes, you could spawn in as a medic and really do some help for your team. And snipers. These levels are perfect for snipers, especially Alvarez Mountains and Bandahar Desert. There is cranes. Those snipers, I know how you love those cranes, way out in the outskirts of that level that you can finally get those super, super, super long sniper shots. So back to Alvarez Mountains. It is the frozen snow level, and if you'll notice, there's a frozen lake in the middle of the map, or towards the side of the map, and that as the sun rises, the snow begins to melt from the lake. It's actually quite interesting to see. So anyhow, the gunship objective on Alvarez Mountains is Charlie. That's the one you want to get to control the gunship. Each side gets 2 jets, 1 attack chopper, 1 mobile AA, 2 tank destroyers, and 2 quads right off the spawn. Now in the map, if you capture control point Alpha, you're going to get a quad. If you get Bravo, you're going to get mobile artillery and 1 quad. And if you get Delta and or Echo, each one of those spawns a quad into it as well when you capture the objective. So those are, like I said, those are really important to know because these levels are very big and it takes quite a while to get across it unless you do have a vehicle like a quad. Now, another point that I can give you is that when you get off of your quad, don't just jump off it and let it take off. Actually come to a stop because you're going to want that quad back. And it will take off really, really far. So you can chase it down, but if you're capturing an objective and you just kind of let it go, that quad's going to be gone. So hopefully you're capturing one of the objectives that actually spawns a vehicle in it. So that pretty much wraps up our Armored Kill walkthrough. Now, I will have some gameplay coming at you. We will go ahead and do some walkthroughs and overhead maps of each of the 4 levels. Remember, happy gaming, and it wouldn't be Swango without your obligatory explosion. So, here it is.